So I'm cooking tonight, and I've never made a video like this before, and I probably never will again. But I wanted to show you guys something that I'm into, and although I hope you learn something by the end of this, consider this completely self-indulgent. Alright. So, tonight we're going to be making an original recipe. I say original, but nothing's really original anymore these days. But it's a salmon dish. See, salmon. That will be covered in potatoes. We're going for like a hash brown effect on the top with some greens and anchovies. And I'll show you guys what I'm up to here. So, first thing, hot pan. Hot pan. Need hot pan, not hot pan. So that needs to start. You can see how incredibly large my kitchen area is. There it is. There's my garbage. There's all that stuff, and there's the door. I mean, this is what I get to work with. So whatever. Let's get started. First, we're gonna dice the potato, and I'll show you how to make that so it all sticks to the fish and the seasonings that we use with that. So this might be more difficult than I thought it was going to be with the camera in one hand and the spoon in the other. So what we're working with today is miso. Miso is everywhere in Japan, and you can pick it up in most places these days. All we're going to do is take a little bit of miso just like this into our potatoes just like that, and we're going to mix it around. With that, we're also going to add a little bit of pepper. We're going to add a little bit of parsley, and we're going to add, these are all just dried stuff, you don't have to do fresh if you want to, and garlic if I can manage to get the thing off with one hand. I did. Now what this is going to do is, after we wash our salmon, we're going to pat it dry. We're going to pat it dry so that the moisture doesn't get in the way of the binding of the potato paste thing that we're going for here, and the rest of the salmon. So we're just going to mix this around with two hands, so I'll get back to you later. So when do you know when a pan is hot? Besides putting your hand in there, that's the noise that you're looking for. You can see that I've prepared our salmon here. You want to make sure that when you put this potato stuff on here, to layer the potatoes really thinly. You can see that I'm only one potato deep, or one strip deep there. If it's any deeper than that, like that needs to be, and we have to be a little anal about it, it won't cook. And this is the part that I've been fiddling with for the last few nights. Last night I diced them really, really thin, and they cooked too fast, so I'm trying to find that middle ground, and so we'll see. So when that's hot, that's our indication to take some of this and put that on there, like that. And then you want to make sure that the oil itself is hot, and you swirl it around. If you have a pan that doesn't have, I don't know if you can see there, but I actually have like there's like a little ripply dealy, just it's a non-stick sort of thing going on. If you have a straight pan, the oil will actually start to get striations, I don't know, little liney things that'll tell you that it's about to smoke. That's when you know that it's time to put something in there to cool it down, namely that. I can't do that with this because it's kind of a quasi non-stick pan to begin with, and I just have to play it by ear. But whatever. So here we go. Take the piece of meat. And again, remember I dried this before putting on, and that's why it was able to stick so nicely to that. If there's water involved, then it's not going to stick, and it's going to be a mess. So once this is started, I want to make sure that this is make sure that this doesn't burn. So here I will be preparing our vegetables, and I'll show you what I mean, or what I do with those anchovies. It's really good. Don't be afraid of anchovies. It's tasty stuff. Alright, so there we have our broccoli, our vegetable, and I'm going to just mix the broccoli with these greens here. I have no idea what these greens are. They're just very dark and very green. That means they're very healthy. And that's kind of what I go by. Here are my, focus. Okay, whatever. Those are the anchovies. These are imported. They're expensive here. I assume that they're going to be expensive wherever you look at them. Let me check this fish. And you're just going to have to deal with that because they are a little bit more expensive. But the reason you use these is you're going to see that I'm not going to season my vegetables at all, other than a little bit of this rock salt stuff up here. Only that and the anchovies. The anchovies, under just a little bit of heat, will break up and evenly disperse throughout your vegetables, so you want to add them at the same time that you add your leafy green stuff during the saute process, which happens as soon as these start to look translucent. If it was onions, it would be onions translucent. If it was more potatoes, it would be potatoes that get translucent, whatever. And with that, these things become, it's amazing. It's a tremendous amount of flavor. You don't need to season it anymore. It makes it very savory. Because this whole dish is real savory, we're going to be drinking, I am going to be drinking red wine with it. And I know what you're saying, red wine's supposed to be with beef, right? So it's only, fish, white wine. I find that's not true. What really is true is how savory the dish is. We're working with miso, which is very salty, and we're going to be adding anchovies to the vegetables, which is going to be very salty. I'm going to turn this off so I can put my... Ah, man, you see? I'm babbling too much. I'm burning my my potatoes. That's not very pretty. Obviously, you're looking for more this kind of brown, not that kind of brown. But whatever. I got sidetracked. But like I said, what was I saying? Oh, the wine. Okay. The more savory, meaning the more salty or buttery or fatty, salt and butter, that's savory. We're working with oil, we're working with starches and potatoes. We put garlic in with our potatoes. We're frying our potatoes, burning our potatoes, but frying our potatoes, and for that reason, and putting anchovies, again, remember, in our greens, for that reason, a heartier wine is called for. If we had a white wine with this dish, it just wouldn't do us anything. If you're making salmon with, like, say, parsley and lemon, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of salt, something more delicate kinds of flavors, then white wine would have made more sense, but not with this dish. Alright, I'm going to finish my vegetables and show you the whole thing plated. Alright, so what's the damage? Here you can check out my tiny little table and what we have going for ourselves here. Our overcooked hash brown stuff. That's embarrassing. But you can see a little bit of anchovies in here. I put a little bit of rock salt in it, like I said. About 4 anchovies is all I was doing. Over here is a little bit of just store-bought kimchi because we like that. And over here is udon, which is also completely store-bought. The broth is just a condensed broth, and then the noodles come in pre-cooked in a package. And that's just the starch element of our dish to round it all off and to make sure I'm full at the end of it, so I don't go raiding for ice cream bars and stuff in the freezer. And thank you guys for enduring that with me, and I probably won't do this again, but if I was ever to write a cookbook, it would probably read something like combine favorite flavors, then cook to taste, or to a golden brown, or whichever comes first. Whatever, guys. Take care.